Attention all New Orleans units, stand by for broadcast. We are looking for a violent 103M, escaped from the home of mentally insane adolescents. She is described as an Asian female, brown hair, brown eyes, and she is considered dangerous. Use extreme caution. Over.
Copy. Lucky me.
Yo, where your friends at? Is this little old you? All alone in this big bad world? Dude.
You okay? You don't sound like you're from around here. I mean, you live in New Orleans? I'm not going back there. What's that? Stop. What, did you like run away from somewhere? I don't want to go back! She's got no place to stay. I'm helping her out for a little while.
Since when do you help people?
Hey! She's a little miracle.
She's a fugitive.
Stop running! If you see this girl, do not look in her eyes.
Why do you think you're in charge?
I knew something freaky was gonna happen tonight. It's a full moon. I like feel it in my ovaries, I swear to God.
Hi there, Anna Lily. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. I'm a little bit like ODing on the internet and on social media and that kind of thing, but
Right. Yeah.
I'm okay.
Do you feel like you have to do a lot of that you're on firsthand, the kind of stuff you're talking about? I assume you're talking about stuff to promote the upcoming premiere of
Actually, it's been all about what's happening in Iran and this movement of women uprising, and I feel like there's not really clear paths to information, to understanding it in the right way. And I mean, even getting any information I can see is scarce. I have to hunt for it. So like it's like an amazing moment, and it's an entire country of women in a really conservative Middle Eastern country standing up and saying, fuck you, I'm done with this. Like,
right.
So I just really wanted to help create a career path for some people here. And I mean, whoever to like have some information. So honestly, like I was like, this is literally the week the film's coming out and I'm barely.
Yeah. I mean, and then so you have this enormous thing that you have an enormous emotional and personal stake in going on at the same time.
Yeah. But that's the way it goes. And anyway, my film is about freedom at the heart of it. So
that's true.
You know, like a mad, wild thirst for freedom. So
yeah, right. Yeah. And so you though have you ever lived? I mean, obviously you've probably spent a great amount of time in Iran though, can I guess? Or because I know you were brought up, you were born and I guess partly spent some of your life in the UK, and then you came to California when you're pretty young, right? Isn't that the story?
Well, yeah. I was born in the UK. My parents left after the revolution, obviously.
Right.
And they had me in England, and then we came here, and we first went to Miami when I was a kid.
Oh.
And so I was in Miami for the first 4 years or so, not that long. And then California is really where I had my teenage, like high school,
right.
Puberty kind of stuff. So
right. Yeah. Those are the big years. I
have been to Iran. I was there once in 2002, and for a summer. And I had an encounter with the morality police. the exact same, because the guy, someone on the street stopped her because a little bit too much hair was showing.
Mm.
And I had the same thing. I had a guy stick a gun in my back and tell me to cover myself. And I actually had to look because I was covered from head to toe, and all these, they make you wear like loose coats, and
Right.
it's absurd. It's the Handmaid's Tale for real.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I was there then, but I haven't spent like
Mm-hmm.
extended periods of time there.
Do you have like so you met have you created relationships though that are there with people that are there, or are filmmakers or artists? Because I mean, certainly a lot of them.
I am friends with, right now in this particular moment, I don't think it's probably a helpful thing to say anybody's name who I'm friends with who's there right now, because the government is really attacking students, artists, journalists. They've taken the universities hostage yesterday, multiple universities, but like the MIT of Iran, the Harvard of Iran is in Tehran, and the military attacked the university yesterday and closed it and surrounded it and is killing students inside the university, because those are the kids that are the smartest kids that could be the future leaders. And
sure, right. And are the shit stirrers probably, according, oh
but
my
everybody's
God.
united. Honestly, this moment is different than this is 43 years of, it's not like protests or anything new for Iran, because it's a tyrannical regime, and they've had some form of this like conflict for a long time. But this particular one started from women reacting to this girl getting murdered 2 weeks ago. So it's been 17 days straight of protests, and it was the women that went to the streets. And when women are going and standing up in front of guns, that should tell you everything about like what's going on in that country.
Yeah. And how long it's been going on, like in the minds and the hearts of those women, even though they just maybe in the last 2 weeks finally said enough is enough. But probably enough was enough for
so happy. Yeah,
decades.
It has been enough for 43
43
years boiling up, and I'm so happy they did this. And the men, like everybody rose, it's shoulder to shoulder, like the people, it's so unified. Small villages, it's not just Tehran, it's like the whole country.
Right. That's awesome. That's amazing.
It is
and
amazing.
it's so inspiring when these things happen. And is there a way that if anybody's interested in I suppose finding out more or helping or just sharing information?
I think helping.
Doing?
I've been on social media, and I've been posting myself, and I've been sharing things from Golshifta Farhani, is an actress who's been really, in a way, staying on the pulse of moment to moment stuff. I think that like, because the government shut down the internet on day 2, and they do that because they want to keep it quiet. So it's like these videos are getting leaked, to people out here, and they want us to be their voice, to express it like on social media, express it however you can, tag the United Nations, tag the UN, tag UNICEF, tag the Human Rights Watch, tag CNN, tag MSNBC, tag Fox News, tag the LA Times and New York Times, tag everybody, because CBS finally, I saw an article today by CBS that was accurate and good, and I was so relieved. The New York Times wrote something yesterday that was really disappointing and misinformation and didn't get it right, and it was a real I think people have to independently get their information and then just share it, express solidarity and outrage towards this is extremely corrupt, vile Islamic regime, and call it what it is. Don't be afraid to say what it is. Those mullahs, the supreme leader, those people, they're evil. That's it. It's simple. It's not even like a debate.
Ambivalent. There's no ambiguousness.
No, it's not. We're in a Hitler kind of like level of extremism.
Right.
So. Okay, now that we covered
breathe it out and let's do an awkward pivot here. But no, If I had known that I wouldn't have bothered you tonight, my God, you have more things.
No, I'm happy to talk about my film, and I
Okay.
think it's important to talk. I'm
So
a
is your publicist, I'm
filmmaker.
sure. Yeah.
Life goes on
Right.
for everybody, and we all have to do, and my films really are about a deep, unquenchable thirst for freedoms and for you know, like taking a close look at the systems that are in place that like obstruct you from getting you to a feeling of freedom.
Well, let me get out of the way. We'll come right back to that point, of course. But I just want to make sure people know Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon, which is your third feature, will be in theaters on digital and on demand. It already is. Let me rephrase it. It is in theaters on digital and on demand as of this
Friday,
past
September 30th.
Friday. Yeah. And so why is it that what is your impulse that you like to set the stories through where with the characters are typically have have these special powers or these special superhuman sort of aspects to them? Is that like just a way to create an entertaining thing on the surface?
Very entertaining to have
Very. I mean,
supernatural
I love
abilities.
this film was so fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything more exciting than imagining what your superpower would be. If you could have any power, what would you have? You know, designing a supernatural character gives you that joy. And you know, for me, I was just thinking, if I could just control all the pricks out there with just my mind, you know, like that would be pretty helpful, because basically it just means that for Mona Lisa, she has the ability to just control anybody if she needs to. That means she doesn't have to fear anybody, really, at least physically. So that means that she can really wander freely. She doesn't have to avoid the dark, scary alleys. She doesn't have to avoid the shady group of thugs. She can go and
walk right
really,
into them. Yeah.
Yeah, she can go wherever the wind takes her.
But it's interesting. She too, as the movie starts, is also sort of ensnared by this costume that she was forced to wear and imprisoned, and out of the fear that people have of her strength. So a female who has of her strength. Yeah. So it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before a little bit, and you drew that parallel as well. So this character played by June, Jong, how do you pronounce her name? June Jong Seo?
It's Jong Seo.
Jong Seo?
Jung Seo. Her name is Jong Seo, but in Korean, the last name comes first. So Jung Seo, Jun, but they put Jun first. Got it. I always called her Jung Seo, or I always called her Rachel. She was like, call me Rachel when she was here.
Why was Rachel's her chosen?
It's her like little American, make it easy for you.
Right. The chosen name. Yeah.
But she's Jung Seo. Yeah, she's amazing.
So how much of this how much of the story then, or her character specifically, was this in response to anything, or did it just come out of your imagination arbitrarily? I mean, often people will write something, and then of course as they watch it unfold, then they figure out, oh, this is where my mind was at the time. I guess I didn't realize it.
With her, I mean, she was always from Korea. Her origin story is that she's from North Korea. So and it's a really cool backstory that she has of how she became what she is, and came to America at a really young age, and because of her strange abilities had some violent incidents with foster care that led them to the conclusion that she was psychotic and should be put away and medicated. So she's been discarded by the system, and she's been in a catatonic state for 10 years. And that's where we meet her at the beginning of the film. So yeah, she's ready to wake up, and she's hungry for really what I wanted was to create this kind of fantasy adventure set in New Orleans where I wanted a character that felt almost like a newborn child, so that like through her I could reintroduce, like reconnect to the chaos of modern day reality with the childlike kind of enthusiasm for exploration.
And not so coincidentally, maybe that's part of the reason why she bonds so strongly with the young boy, the son of Kate Hudson's character.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She shares that something there.
The pure, the kind of innocent, no ulterior motive connection. Yeah.
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 And talk about Kate Hudson a little bit, that relationship.
Kate. Yes, Kate's sensational. I've been a Kate Hudson fan since forever. I've loved her since 200 Cigarettes. I'm one of those people that loves, when I love an actor, I'll watch all their movies, and I've literally seen every Kate Hudson movie because of her. Whatever the movie is, I just love her. You know?
I understand.
So,
right.
So
that's loyalty too, by the way.
Well, it's a fangirl thing. If you're a fan of somebody, I don't know if you have any actors like that where you're just like, I just want to see it to see them, you know? It's like, it's a certain thing.
Oh, of course.
Who?
Yeah, of course. Oh, well, when I was very young, I mean, it was like an Al Pacino, somebody like that, you know?
Oh, sweet, yeah.
You know, because, but I'm talking about 30 years ago where,
yeah,
you know, it was like, you know, every time you saw that person, it was like a bit of magic or something. Yeah, of course, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's anybody right now. I have to think about that. I haven't really, you know, maybe I've lost some of that.
Yeah. Well, Leo still has it for me too. If Leo does a movie, I'm going to see it. Keanu, if he does a movie, I'll see it. There's certain people.
This isn't your way of like trying to cast in the future, is it?
I mean, in a way, I guess it is. Because
sure. Well, why wouldn't you reach? You got Kate Hudson, so you know.
I'm attracted to certain artists, and their soul is what you absorb into your story, and they're the ones that tell your story. So I definitely have that deep connection. And Kate is a genius actress. I feel that the people that excel, that master comedy, I think it's a real type of genius, because it's the most difficult, I think, to really do, to connect and to sell it in a real grounded way takes nuance. And I'm always attracted to actors that have that. And she's like amazing in that way. She's so present. So, you know, and it was a character like Bonnie. She's this kind of street hustling shark. Right. She's a stripper, you know, and she kind of does things maybe that are sometimes for some people morally questionable. So it's like to not let it become a dark, you know, type of character. It's like Kate brought this real grounded levity to her. So yeah, I went to her house and she read the script, and turned out she was also a fan, and we just like hit it off. I fell in love with her right away, and she was 8 months pregnant when I met her. So that was
out of here. Is that right? Wow.
She literally, I went to her house and she opened the door, and it was just like, there was a giant belly with a baby in it. And I remember just the blood sinking out, thinking, how are we going to do this?
She's supposed to be a stripper, yeah.
And she's like, I can pole dance. I have a pole. I can't show you right now because I'm obviously unable to.
Right.
But then
that was a smart choice.
Yeah, we had this meeting about it, and then at the end, I was like, "What are we going to do about the baby thing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'll just push it out, and we'll do the movie. No big deal." And it was such a Bonnie thing to say.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And, you know, and I was just, she's a warrior. So
she's so good in it, and I would have to talk to her and ask her some questions that I would have, because you can't really speak for her too much, because I would think I know she's done some things that are out there, but this is good for, I think, somebody who's, but first of all, she's raised it by Hollywood royalty, right? So you know, but to do something that's a little bit more on the sidelines and a little bit more risky, I think it really speaks for itself. Like that she took there's a lot safer types of roles, or I don't know. I think it's like she's unrecognizable in this film, by the way. If you don't know it's her, I mean, you might recognize her, of course. I mean, I'm not saying she's totally unrecognizable, but what I mean is her performance is unrecognizable.
Yeah, she really fully
She
went
stuck
for
her neck
it.
out for you. She
Yeah,
must have, yeah. You could tell she really is waiting for something like that.
yeah, it's incredible. I can't wait to work with her again too. She's one of the best. So
Yeah, I remember.
I just think with certain actors that are like let's say Jim Carrey or
Mhm.
any of them, when you become like a kind of cultural staple for a specific thing,
Yep.
they just build a business around that. It's not necessarily that they want to keep doing those types of things. It's just that this kind of business suddenly takes place around them being good at this thing.
That's right.
And
That's a good point. Yeah.
because they're all really artists at the heart, she just wants to disappear. From what I feel from her is that she just wants to do cool art and disappear into something. So that's my sense of that.
I was listening to a couple of years ago, and she was doing a podcast with her brother, and you could tell this is an incredibly gifted person. I mean, did you ever hear any of those that podcast that she did? I don't know if she's still doing, but
I feel they do it. I feel like I saw a couple of those during COVID. She's so funny.
Yeah.
She's so funny.
Very funny, and the relationship they have is great. I mean, it's really
hilarious.
They're such friends, and it's hilarious. Let's say again, Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon is currently out there in any way you want to see it. So this is coming from a big fan too. You and Sheila sat with me in the office of Kina Lorber I guess maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do remember.
You do? Because I came across some fun photos of that. We're just goofing around it. I have very fond memories of that day and sitting and meeting you and turning out.
You're in New York, so it's like I'm actually going to be there this coming weekend. I'm going to be there at the IFC Center for a couple of Q&As.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and at the Alamo Draft House.
In Brooklyn?
No, the one in Manhattan on Friday.
Okay.
But the IFC Center is like very close to my heart too. It's like they've showed all my films, and I adore the people that run it, and I adore the theater. So
John Vanko and Harris Stu and all those guys. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Well, I adore you, and I adore your. You're such a great guest. You bring so much when you show up. So I appreciate that, and I'm glad you talked about what was on your mind at the beginning too, because that's good. It's great, and that to me is really incredible stuff. And we're not getting that much information, as you already kind of alluded to. We're getting. And what we're getting, you have to kind of be careful to check out, because it's kind of coming in slowly, about what's
very slowly
around. So, but I appreciate your sharing that, and I'm gonna go check it out myself.
Cool.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
You bet.
You can also cut the interview off, like at where I was talking about that, and just make.
I'm not going to, unless anybody has some issue with it.
No, I don't think so.
I don't do it necessarily a political show per se, but I do bring on a lot of documentary filmmakers. There's a lot of them and I look for topics that I think with subject matter that will, or at least talking about it, will contribute in some positive way to people, especially in the last few years or a bunch of years, instead of, the alternative, I guess. Because it's like important subjects,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm grateful,
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that. I get all my information from podcasts, from Substack, and from like independent, from people who I specifically go and look for.
Me too.
I'm
a lot of YouTube shows that nobody watches. Yeah,
exactly. A lot of people do. I think like the independent platforms are becoming more and more vital, and it's the most American thing, because that's where it's really free, thoughtful expressions. and interpretations of what's going on in the world.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a great evening. And
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you as well. By the way, the movie Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon is really fun.
It is fun.
It's
I hope we
fun.
didn't give the wrong impression. Well,
I
actually, you know what I'm
know.
gonna do? I'm gonna show the trailer in the front before our
Yeah,
conversation.
that would be
And people get a
cool.
good, strong sense of the tone of the film. I mean,
It's a good time at the movies.
and Craig Robinson's in it. And by the way, I buried the lead in that, and he's also, and so of course, although he kind of has the straight role in this one, which is kind of funny.
Yes, it is fun for him to go.
Because he's always playing the comic kind of,
Yeah.
foil or what have you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's terrific. It's good to see him in this movie.
Yeah, I
There's
love
something
him.
different.
He's an
Yeah.
amazing guy.
Great
Yeah.
cast. Great cast.
Yeah.
Also, Ed Skrein. Did I pronounce his name?
Ed Skrein, yeah,
Skrein,
he
excuse me.
kills. He kind of murders in this movie. He's so freaking good.
And the young Evan Whitten also. So I want to make sure I got all the cast mentioned in there.
Yeah.
And written and directed by Lily Amirpour. So there you go.
That's me.
That's you. So next time with the next film, or we don't have to even wait for that. I mean, come, if you like to talk, we'll do it anytime.
Yeah, hit me up.
I will.
Okay.
All right. Have a good have a good time in New York City.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
You're welcome.
Take it easy.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.